Hello. Oh my god. Hello. So I'm gonna be reacting to this video by Goji Center talking about the D-Rex. I've already explained some of it to my friends. So let's see.
While millions of people were watching the highly anticipated trailer to the next adventure in the Jurassic universe, there was no doubt that the one big question on everyone's minds was, what the hell is that?
For one big question, why is it so big though? Like, it's bigger than a freaking T-Rex, and within case for the people who created this mother trucker, why? Like, what kinds of things did you put in the dinosaur? Like, what DNA did you find? Because he looks pretty deformed, for what I gotta say. What the hell? Anyways.
On this episode of Goji Center, we're going to take a deep dive into everything we figured out about the latest Jurassic World monstrosity. Before we proceed, however, note that we will be analyzing both the trailer, behind-the-scenes information, and share some plausible plot leak information found in the wretched corners of the internet.
How did you, like, did you find out easily, like, oh shit, we fucked up? Okay, let's redo that. Sorry guys. Bro, what the heck is wrong with you? What the heck? Like, the new T-Rexes seem so fine, but literally this place has probably been abandoned for a very long time. So, how far apart is the D-Rex from the T-Rexes that were made on that island? That's the one big question for me.
Including a possible full design reveal of this new monster. So, here's a potential spoiler warning for this year's upcoming blockbuster. Don't say we didn't warn you.
Blockbuster.
In Jurassic World Rebirth, we follow both a wayward family and a hired mercenary group working for a pharma company winding up on an unknown island with a grim present and an even darker history. Dinosaurs released into the world in the last couple of movies have settled into areas like this, and InGen was conducting some of their earliest experiments in the same location many decades ago.
Bro,
but nothing from the pack-hunting Spinosaurus to the kaiju-sized Titanosaurs was as horrifying as this. The Goji Center modeling team has quickly put together a three-dimensional model of what we think the new mutant monster looks like. Standing possibly over 25 feet tall and no doubt having a weight in the tens of thousands of pounds, this nightmarish beast doesn't have a confirmed name yet. But as a tribute to a forgotten monstrosity from the 90s, we're also nicknaming this the D-Rex for now. Even after all the strange beasts we've seen in the franchise, nothing comes close to this.
Yeah,
a malformed mutant with multiple sets of arms, knuckle-walking fists with...
It looks like it has wide eyes in the eye sockets. So what happened? And also, I've heard people say that it looks like a mix of something from Star Wars, the alien from Aliens, and other kinds of stuff. And yeah, like, the head structure actually does look like the alien
massive claws
Aliens,
and a bulbous forehead that could imply anything from echolocation abilities like a beluga or a malformed skull like some embryos develop. For this part of the video, we'll entertain the idea that this was not an intentional design. After all, 6 limbs, a body that looks like somebody threw a Rancor into a blender with a Muto, and huge knuckle-walking fists aren't exactly anything you find in the dinosaur fossil record. According to scattered rumors and a few alleged plot details, this was one of the very earliest genetic creations by InGen, back in the 1980s when the genomes were sequenced further before being shipped off to production on Site B. This would make even more sense considering Rexy was one of the earliest dinosaurs the company created, according to the viral marketing, being born sometime in the late 1980s. If InGen did indeed create this animal, this malformed abomination would almost certainly be older and was made with older tech. Having
Yeah.
said this, it is actually quite possible that this animal could be reaching its 50s, assuming it was made in the mid to late 70s. If it was made in the early 80s, then we'd still be looking at an animal well beyond the life expectancy of a real T-Rex, with the very old specimens not living much past the age of 30.
Dang.
It's almost certain that this mutant Rex has many years under its belt. With old age, we can also associate older technology, and this may have been a culprit as to why it came out looking this way. Genetics technology from the start to the end of the 80s was drastically more primitive compared to the tech seen in the early 90s, let alone the much more advanced computers used in the 2010s. Things like CM5 supercomputers used on his Lanublar and Sorna were not around back then.
Hello, John.
Hello, John.
Thinking machine supercomputers and gene sequencers break down the strand in minutes. We use the complete DNA of a frog to fill in the holes and complete the
Oh, that
code.
guy again.
That little bit of marketing in Hammond's show and tell might be plot relevant. Tech like that was integral to making the incomplete DNA viable by either repairing the code or filling in the missing parts with frog DNA correctly. Yeah, this is really easy to screw up, which is why in the real world we don't see much of this happening. If more primitive tech was used in the creation of this mutant, that might explain how this animal wound up looking the way it does. To be clear, the InGen geneticists behind the creation of this D-Rex were not planning for it to look like this. This animal was probably a failed attempt at making a giant theropod. No amount of healthy hybridization splicing should ever cause multiple limbs to appear. Alright, so in the following segment, we're going to learn a bit of genetics, so brace tight and pay close attention.
Okay, that's all for this part for today. So I'll see y'all on the flip side, but I will try to make a part 2 and 3 if I can. So bye guys.